They were losing pretty substantially. I think it was like 1.5. I say pretty. They were losing a bit. GIANTX in Game 2 didn't give them the Pop Blossom, partly because Nico in its Fearless, but also partly because they played a little bit more patiently. KC have not looked good in the early game. Against Na'Vi, even then, they didn't look amazing in the early game. And they were able to pick out the win in the end. But if GIANTX don't give them anything in the early game, KC once again are looking for something truly special to get them back in these games.
Yeah, and I agree. Isma has had the better of Yike for a large portion of this series, especially when it comes to the early game. So I definitely am going to be keeping my eyes out on, one, what happens with jungle picks here, because a lot of those cream of the crop have been taken away. Vi has been consistently banned. Now you've seen Poppy gone as well. So you're kind of moving down in towards things like maybe the Nocturne or back towards tank duty for some of these junglers. And maybe Yike looks better on something like the Sejuani.
We do have Wukong still up if you want to pick one of the main junglers that we're seeing at the moment. Yone and Poppy banned away by KC. Taliyah and Jace removed by GIANTX. I wonder if we'll see the Varus taken away by GX. It's usually what you see as the final ban on the red side. KC have a little bit more liberty. Obviously, with it being Fearless, a lot of those power picks already out.
If I'm KC, I think, so this is weird, because it's, yeah, you ban the Varus, because the thought process here is you probably see Vi ban, which means you get Wukong, which is going to be great, or they leave the Vi open, and then you can kind of leave that to your next rotation and look for something like a Rumble or something strong for Canna in that top side instead. Or the Azir, which is the other big pick as well. Yeah. So I imagine it probably will be the Azir ban over the Vi ban.
We'll have to see where GIANTX decide to go. With the Taliyah already removed, Azir currently into it. Victor is the ban, so will Vladi go towards that Azir? Do you want to first pick it as well? Because if you don't, Jackies and GIANTX will be very happy to take it away. It looks like Vi...
I think of the Azir.
Yeah. Azir makes more sense because, as you say, Wukong and Vi are still up.
It's just because, in my eyes, it's Wukong Azir is just a really, really strong duo. Rumble, Wukong is also a very, very strong duo, but the Vi is there as well. So I think you got options. The thing, though, that this opens up for GIANTX, if you do go for the Vi, is Kai'Sa in that bottom lane. Like, we've seen that kind of murder the backline comp with the trio that you could end up having picked up here, but we'll have to see exactly.
I mean, I like the Vi more than the Wukong, specifically into Azir, just because of her ability to cease and desist through the Emperor's Divide. Yeah. I think it's a little bit easier to enact. You can decoy over it as well on the Wukong if you play it perfectly, but it's a bit more tricky to avoid the knockback. So there's the Vi alongside the Rumble. KC, often as an answer into the Rumble, we see Galio. I think Canna wants a little bit more agency than that. Xayah locked in alongside the Rakan for KC. They are really putting a lot of eggs in getting a strong bot lane that can win the 2v2, but also has safety for themselves.
Yeah, I think their thought is, hey, we can go towards something like the Maokai, the Sejuani as an answer to the Vi. We can even go for the Wukong. That's why I actually liked the hover from Jackie's there in the Sylas, because my plan here for GIANTX would be, okay, we take the Kai'Sa on this next rotation, Kai'Sa Xayah, finding that bottom side of the map, and then you open up in these next rotations for looking at a potential Sylas for Jackie's into the Sylas. Into the Azir. Sylas is fine. You deny then something like the Maokai because you don't want to give that across. And it means that you can ban the Wukong and potentially Sejuani and set yourselves up really well here. But Nautilus is going to be taken instead. I would imagine maybe a Kai'Sa ban might be coming through here for KC.
It's definitely possible. The Wukong is going to get taken away by GIANTX. Ari banned by KC. Ari Vi obviously just such a good combo, right? But you can still look towards something like the Sylas if you're Jackies in that mid lane. You could even go for something with more assassination potential. Akali would really struggle into the Azir in lane, but does have a lot of burst.
Could also go for the Yone here for Jackies as well, with the Rumble already providing that damage in the top lane. The only thing is, with the Xayah on the opposite side, you're kind of neutralized in trying to go for the AD carry. So an early Xayah's pickup for Azir would then kind of neutralize again the Yone and the Vi, but you can always stagger those two engages. But we'll have to see what the plan is. I still kind of like the Kai'Sa ban here just because it limits what Noah can do, but it's actually going for the Ziggs instead.
Ziggs banned away does give you good poke, and like it's one of those with the Yone. Ziggs bot lane does make sense because you're spreading your damage out a little bit. Vi Yone is physical, and then Rumble of Ziggs is that magic damage. Noah has brought out the Ziggs before. In fact, did it against G2 for Fnatic in that game 3 of the finals. Now, Corki locked in. We've seen that banned out by KC quite a lot, so it's physical damage from the bot lane. GIANTX Obviously, we already know the bot lane they're playing into. I like the Nautilus and the Corki into Rakan specifically. You can hook him out of his grand entrance, but also the Valkyrie out from the Corki just gives you a bit more safety. KC looking towards their jungle lane. Is it just box standard? Are we just going to go good DPS, tanky front line? Are we going to see a Skarner Galio or something here? Yes, we are. I was looking at Dagda during that, and then they were both blocked in when I looked back. So there we go. Tanky frontline, good disengage with the Rakan and the Galio and the Emperor's Divide. Obviously, some engage tools with the Rakan and the Galio and the Emperor's Divide as well. Yeah,
I do think, though, GIANTX kind of snookered KC a little bit here with the Sylas. I like the fact that they kind of hover the Sylas because it's, now that you've gone the Galio, great ultimate to try and steal away. The Azir ult is fantastic as well. And even in limited circumstances as well, the Skarner ult can be pretty decent too. So I think you've got tools there for the Sylas to work with. And especially the Galio one for Vi ults in. You then ult the Vi with the Rumble ult on top of it, and you're delivered into the backline. Like, Vladi's going to have a very tough time in team fights. I wouldn't even be surprised to see like a Xayah second, or at least some sort of defensive tools very early to try and protect his ear.
He hasn't had the best series so far, has Vladi. I think yesterday had a bit more fun in that game. Today has been on the back foot against Jackie's, and Jackie's is winning out on that 1v1 matchup. And we will see what the two teams do as we get into the Rift. For GIANTX, huge dive. Massive team fight potential if they can lock down that one target. For KC, it's about surviving the initial punch and then trying to land a jab of their own. Scrim Gods versus the Winter Champions on the Rift once again in a closer series, I think, than some people were expecting. GIANTX, there's been a lot of hype around them, but we're often taught not to talk about scrims. Here, they managed to pick up Game 2 in convincing fashion. Game 1 was in their favor as well, till KC were able to turn it around. Now we get into the real meat of it all. Game 3, looking for that top spot in the group. And remember, the top two teams get a bye through the first round of playoffs.
And that's what I was going to say. If you're picking up a win against Karmine Corp early here as GIANTX, that sets you up so nicely for the rest of your group. Like, now, like, Movistar Koi still there, defending champions from spring. Definitely a team to keep your eyes on. But against, like, Navi, Vitality, like, these are wins that you expect to pick up. A win against KC here could be massive in securing that second place.
It really can. Like, it is a bit of a different format, this split in the LEC. We're doing this group format with two separate groups. KC, Movistar, GIANTX, Vitality, and Navi in one of the groups, Fnatic, G2, SK, BDS, and Heretics in the other. So because you're only playing 4 best-of-3s in the regular season, every single win is so important. Even the game score can be really important. KC perhaps will be dismayed that they've lost a game here, because if MKOI just 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, obviously they'd have to beat KC to do that, but that would put them at the top position in the group. Let's get back onto the Rift, though. Let's have a look at how these two teams are starting out. KC, very defensive in their positioning. Jackie's once again going for that Razorbeak ward. Abscond abduct level for him. Tries to get Vladi on the sidestep. Doesn't hit it. Will take a little bit of hurt for his troubles. It's lethal tempo on the Azir into the electrocute on Jackie's, going aggressive on this Sylas, looking for those bursty trades whenever he can.
I think it also makes sense because when a lot of the trades that you want to take is utilizing stuff like Taste of Blood to make sure that you can try and get these decent trades in and try and be a little bit safer, or sorry, get the heals through aggression in the lane. If you're ever passive in this lane, it is just not going to go well for you as the Sylas. So we'll be keeping our eyes to see how effective Jackie's can be, but it does mean that for guys like Yike, when you have a Skarner that's coming from many different angles and catch people off guards, and you want to play aggressive, you need that early vision control down to enable that. So it's going to be how can Jun and Isma get that vision control down to let Jackie's play aggressive in the lane.
Something Jun and Isma have been doing really well is teaming up through that jungle support synergy in this series so far. We've seen them on the same page a lot, which is not always what was happening in winter and spring. Lot pushed in early here by the Galio. It's a common counter matchup, and we always talk about it when it comes out, but Galio obviously with the magic as a shield, with the ability to taunt the Rumble if he gets too close in the Winds of War, and then those massive slamming auto attacks can be a little bit difficult for the Rumble. Rumble will still scale up as Jackie's tanks a tower shot in the mid lane. Vladi puts down a soldier, slides them into Jackie's as well, who falls down to 150 HP, pops both of his potions to try and survive. The hook's gonna land here. Aftershock for Jun means he's tanky enough to survive. Noah trying to avoid the feathers because that Blade Caller could root him up. And Targamas still 5 seconds away from having his grand entrance back up.
Both junglers are down on this bottom side though. There is a ward to spot out if FLICKR tries to come through River though, already placed, but potential here to try and make something happen is I think no one Jun wanted try and freeze this wave out from away from the turret, so nicely done, but here's Isma.
Oh, Isma looking for the engage. They jump immediately onto Caliste, who has to flash away. Flash forward from Yike for the suppression on Jun, who walks down knowing he is done for. KC, for the first time this series, get first blood.
It was a risky play from GIANTX, hoping that they could get on towards Caliste and punish him, but unfortunately just not meant to be, and it means that now Jun falls, quick kill across towards Yike, and crucially that freeze that was starting to be set up by GIANTX doesn't go through, but Jackie's.
Isma's here, and because of that, Vladi won't go for anything more. Could have looked for another soldier or a flash forward just for the auto. Jun opening up through mid as well would have been there, perhaps in the nick of time. Yike going to be met by Isma. Jun is here, no support for Yike, means that he will just have to accept that double scuttle is going over to the GIANTX jungler.
Also, Jackie's did get the reset, so he's full health. You got Jun here. There's just too many people that are in that area, so just going to end up backing away. And Yike, I think he's going to be still fine with the fact that he just got that early kill and has put a bit of a dent in towards Caliste plan in this bottom side of the map. But now, I think, swap's going to come through as Jun is already in this top side and Noah is starting to make his way up here as well.
As a reminder, the summer finals are coming up in Madrid. And there'll be, all the tickets are already on sale. Started on the 2nd of August. You can jump onto lec.gg/Madrid to get them. Last time we were in Madrid was for the road shows in spring. And I know everyone there had a whale of a time, so I'm sure that it will be equally as enjoyable to go there over the summer. TP coming down towards this bottom side. Canna perhaps just looking for a lane swap as Lot is already down here. Caliste and Targamas should just be able to push this one out. Canna actually might just be looking for a flank. Lot knows he's here, did spot him on a ward, and will start to back away immediately. The rest of KC collapsing though. Lot has the flash, dodges away from the Justice Punch, will get taunted up here, but should just be able to walk his way out. Knocked up by Targamas, who battle dances his way back to his top lane.
Yeah, they just needed to make sure that Lot lost this minion wave, because you're seeing the same is about to happen in that top side for Caliste.
Lot, that was greedy from Lot, trying to step back forward, now flashes in, isn't level 6, doesn't have the equalizer, dodges away from the grand entrance, and I said it was greedy, but Lot survives for an absolute age! Lot with the fancy feet, he turns KC to stone! Stuck where they're standing, Yike will fall.
I cannot believe that Lot managed to survive that. I was convinced he was going to go down, but managing to get away from the grand entrance, picks up the kill. Again, like, I'm in shock.
I mean, that was great. Like, the evolution of Lot is a story I am here for. Coming into the league, not being seen really as all that, but moments like this really show him shining.
Yeah, so initially managing to dodge away from the Justice Punch meant that they couldn't really follow up, and then Flash here, I was like, okay, you're gone for, but ends up sidestepping the grand entrance, and then Yike ends up tanking the damage, which is perfect then for Isma as he comes in, because there's just no way for him to escape. He'd already used the Flash.
He dodged everything. He dodges Justice Punch, gets caught in the taunt, walks away. Ishtal's impact doesn't hit him. He sidesteps that, then the grand entrance as well. Like, he should be very happy with how that sequence went down. Caliste is going to be able to pick up a plate, lock up towards the top side. As we see the Emperor's Divide coming out, hook from Jun, not quite connecting. Hero's entrance there to back up Vladi. It was used at the right time, but it wasn't really needed in the end because of how Vladi was able to remove himself from a sticky situation. Equalizer popped down by Lot in the top side just to clear out that wave. And although GIANTX have had a nice moment at the start of this game, have picked themselves up a Drake, the goal is still pretty even between these two teams. A slight lead for Caliste, who is going back towards that top side with Grubs up in 30 seconds. Yeah,
it's the fact that Lot actually, we just first talking about it, got that minion wave underneath the tower means that he's in a really good spot now against Canna. And it's more so been that Vladi has been able to get a good time, a little bit of alone time with Jackie's, not having that support for Jackie's to be able to play hyper aggressive. So it's kind of those two solo laners that are the main difference maker across the board here. And we'll have to see how, as we start to split out the map, it's, you know, Void Grubs now in a couple of seconds and one Dragon for GIANTX. Can KC actually leverage leverage the fact that Caliste should have pushing topside to move towards this void grid.
Yeah, I wonder if GIANTX will actually try and fight around the grubs at all. Noah is a little bit ahead down towards that bottom side, but it's gone Cull. Doesn't have the teleport, obviously, he's an AD carry, so won't be able to get back up here quickly enough, really, to join any fight that happens. Karna doesn't have TP either. Noah's already walking his way up, so they are going to try and fight around it. Yike will secure the first grub. GIANTX now gain control of the river, and KC respecting them, backing away.
It's good use of GIANTX on understanding Vladi's cooldowns. Vladi used that ult in mid to keep himself safe, same with Canna, whereas Jackie's ultimate is just up significantly quicker, so they're going to just use that fact, even though they don't have the Rumble ult, to just bully their way through mid lane in towards Void Grubs and pick up 2 for themselves.
They'll lose a plate down towards the bottom lane because of it. You can see Noah moving across meant that Canna got free time with the tower, gets himself a plate, gets a tiny gold lead over Lot, but Lot will be, as you say, quite happy with how the early portion of this game has gone. Next Drake, 2.5 minutes away, and don't expect to see too much happening before that, although both the junglers do have their level 6s, so have the ability to force a play.
Yeah, I think it's mostly just trying to find a way as Yike in to make plays happen, because there's decent vision control in the river. Like, he's just been spotted, he cleared out one ward here, there's a ward here, there's another here. Kind of most of the entrances that he has to get into plays have already been covered, and you can see Jun now starting to change his trajectory to play around this mid lane with Isma to make sure that there is nothing happening towards Jackie.
Jackie's very safe as well with the quickness, right? The ability, even if you get knocked in with an Emperor's Divide, just to pop that, charm up anyone that's on top of you. You then have Flash, Abscond, Abduct, Kingmaker, you can, oh, King Slayer, it's W, whatever King it Slayer, is. Yeah. He's able to remove himself from any difficult situations. Noah's still getting solo XP, ever so slightly ahead of Caliste. You can tell from the pink bars under the champion portraits on the right and left side of your screen. But I don't think either team is too sad with how this early game's gone. KC, obviously, the botch dive didn't go too well for them, but they're still in an okay situation, scaling up. Only about 100 gold between the two squads right now.
Yeah, I think though for KC, they're going to be much happier with the way this has gone. Sure. Game 1 and Game 2, the game had already started to kind of run away with them from this position. So they're kind of in a bit more of a fighting chance here, and they do have decent scaling. As they start to get up there, you have the Azir that should be in a decent spot. This Galio gets quite tanky as the game goes on. It's just nervous when you're playing against such a strong wombo combo coming through from GIANTX. Just the ability to lock someone down and burn them through with the Rumble ult, and having Jackie's follow up with another ult, which just makes it kind of terrifying.
We have a Drake about to spawn. Caliste and Targamas have that push down towards the bottom side. As you say, the threat of someone just getting caught out with the dive from GIANTX is pretty deadly. Isma on the flank here. Targamas will spot the fact a ward went down. Oh, Isma jumps across the ward with the blast cone. Cease and desist in, flashes away from the Impale. There's the Vault Breaker as well to safety. TP coming out from Karna as they look to collapse on this play. The Riptide used by Jun for the slow, but the quickness in. Good depth charge again. Isma, though, is running into the rest of KC. Karna distracting Jun and Noah well, and will force them away.
There was so much used in trying to protect him, but now Jun might go down as well.
Oh. I mean, Karna's actually the one who's probably on the wrong side of this. Jun going back in with the hook. In the end, Karna is safely shepherded out by KC. The Drake should be their next objective. And once again, like, Isma has had a really good series generally, but it's these 1 or 2 moments that really loom large in the collective thought about him.
It's because they happen at such pivotal moments. Like, you're now getting a dragon going across, you're matching this play on the top side, turret taking on the bottom side. Well, you were for a little bit matching it, but it just means that it's these moments that will stand out because big objectives happen as a result.
Jackie's knocked back underneath the tower, doesn't tank it. Emperor's Divide to try and keep Targamas away. Flashes again, but this is not where you want to be, GIANTX. You keep going into the wrong damn jungle. Jackie's might be able to get to the blast cone. Targamas going to try and follow him around. Caliste coming in as well. Puts down the feathers, and Jackie's, even with the Kingslayer, won't heal up enough. 3-1 to KC.
Again, though, it's sloppy mistakes. There was no need for him to be in the mid lane. It's nice that he got to escape, but here you can see Isma goes for a ward. Could have ended up just using the Q to get back out over the wall if he really wanted
to. Or blast cone into the pit.
Exactly, yeah. But instead, tries to go for something on the bottom side and kind of TP's in. You've already... And so much was used. Like, Isma's flash, you got the heal burned from Jun and his flash gone as well. There was so much invested in just trying to get him to safety. and then leaves you vulnerable then for so many more plays.
Those small moments really define games like this. And GIANTX had a great game too. They were clean, they were patient, they were methodical most of the time. Here, KC have already shown us in summer when they do have their teeth into a game, when they have control over a game, they are very good at closing it out. It is still even between the two teams. Gold basically the same, 2 grubs to 1, 1 Drake apiece, but the first few sequences of this game have definitely come up in favor of KC, apart from when Laure was able to outplay the dive on that bottom side.
I think the best option here for KC is to just try and continue to put pressure towards the side lanes. Jackies doesn't have any sort of flash, which means that if he tries to contest the wave state at any point in time, it's really difficult, which is why I think they're trying to send him towards Canna, because at least he's got a little bit more safety there. But yeah, it's just the lack of pressure on mid-wave plus the mobility of Targamas is going to make these side lanes very vulnerable to potential plays from KC.
They can keep the game just a little bit slower for the next couple of minutes or so. There's a Rift Hold up in 40 seconds, but KC should be very happy. Just, all right, we'll get to 2 items. We have an Ashes on the Azir. Let's get him another one. Let's make sure Kanna's a tank.
I also think it's a good Rile's angle for Vladi as well.
Yeah.
To go second, just the defensive stats are really good. You end up with the slow, which is good for so many of the melee champions that are on GIANTX. So if an engage whiffs, you can punish so effectively.
And it's really interesting how the conversation shifts as the game goes on. When we were in draft, we were talking about the Azir. It's like, there's so many tools for GIANTX to get on top of this Azir. Is it Azonya's second? Does he need to keep himself safe? But because KC have been able to control the game, not fall prey to those dives to the degree that perhaps we thought they might, now you're talking about, oh, he needs something a little defensive, but he can still be aggressive. He can still get the Rylai's. He can still do that little bit more damage in the fights because there isn't that threat that we expected to materialize. It could still come. Could still pull a rabbit out of the hat here for GIANTX. They are not that far behind. It's 300 gold. It just, the momentum of the game doesn't feel in their favor.
It's also just the spikes on key champions are behind. Like Jackies is going for a cheaper item in the Hextech Proto Belt and still hasn't finished his first item. Whereas
very true.
You've already got Vladi who's completed his and moving up steadily towards boots being finished and on towards his next item. There is maybe a cross-map play coming through here on the bottom side for GIANTX, but Targamas with a good reset timer should be here to protect any sort of play, and it looks like GIANTX know it, so they're just going to back away.
You can see Jun was waiting, thinking perhaps Vladi oversteps. Control ward in the bush, though, meant that Jun knew his aspirations had been deduced, had been sleuthed out. Isma here spotted. They did, I'm pretty sure, see that ward go down. Because it was Jackie's trading with Targamas when that ward was placed.
Yeah.
Maybe because it wasn't pinged, they thought it had just expired. Or maybe they just didn't realize that Targamas had placed the ward at the time. They know Isma's here. KC have full awareness that Isma is waiting in the darkness, and you can see Yike beginning to collapse with him. The ward goes down. Targamas laying the trap, baiting it out. Yike comes into the bush as well. Now GIANTX realize, oh, it's a 3v3 if we do decide to take this Barney. Jun's the one to step forward. They go for Vladi, cease and desist, not on the equalizer, even with the depth charge follow-up. Targamas with a great charm, double TPs. It's Jackies who joins first, steals away the Impale, will look for it, but goes between the uprights. Jackies will fall to KC as they collapse in the bottom lane.
And the TP from Canna buying the space that KC needed to deal with Jackies in the back line. There's a couple of whiffs on some key spells throughout that, but KC managed to get the kill.
Jackies was looking for it, but the Impale just didn't connect. Now GIANTX still fighting in a 4v5. Targamas trying to heal up. No quickness for him. The Emperor's Divide there, though. Targamas dives in, and here come the soldiers. Noah down. Jun will follow suit. KC roar into life in game 3. 2k ahead. 2 Drakes in their pockets. Mid lane turret their next target.
And KC looking good with a lead. Like the flash here from Vladi's good. Yike ends up missing with the Impale. There was a little bit of a desync between him and Targamas, but the TP was way too far forward from Jackies. He kind of has to throw out the Impale and hope for the best, but removing bot
Lot might die as well. The Rift Tower is coming in. Targamas looking for the grand entrance. There's no flash now for Lot. Rift Tower charging around the corners. Jackies Oh, he doesn't hit the F-Scon. Dagda doesn't take down the tower. Yike now with the Ishtal's impact will lock it. Jackie's against the wall. He dashes in, but the ground entrance allows Vladi to make a safe exit. Kingslayer healing not enough as Targamas takes the kill. The equalizer not ticking on anyone. KC, well, they're doing a Germany versus Brazil. It's 7-1 now.
And the top side is still being pushed by Canna. You were the ones who went for the play on that bot side, GIANTX, and it doesn't work out, and now it's across the map that you were losing out, as long as Canna doesn't get caught here.
Even if he does he die? Tries to get away, flashes the wall phase, rushes enough alongside that summoner to escape that situation. 3K now the lead for KC, and for GIANTX, you get to the point where when you are diving on the enemy, firstly, everything has to be very well synced up. We saw the flash away from Vladi meant that the equalizer wasn't on top of him, the depth charge didn't follow. That is the first step. The second step is hope the enemy isn't tankier than you want them to be. There's a Seekers complete on Vladi. There's 2 items on Caliste, and he always has the Featherstorm to escape. You've got 2 items already on their way for Yike with that Aegis and the Heartsteel complete. Karna is tanky. You've got to lock it. Like, you are now falling so far behind that even the essence of your comp doesn't work the way you want it to.
Yeah, it's a 2.3k gold lead in the mid lane. Like, Vladi has completely got the better at Jackie's both in the side lanes when it came to the laning phase as well. And
it was only 20 minutes ago we were saying, oh, we think Jackie's has actually had the better of Vladi this series. We were just 2-game Andys, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is game 3 where it all comes to bear. And GIANTX are kind of desperate to get whatever gold they can on towards Jackie's, on towards some of these carries, but you've got Rakan now in 10 seconds. There is as much blue as possible on that bottom side of the map. There is, I don't think, like, whatever the duck that spawns at the start of the game could move without it being spotted on that bottom side. It is insane.
I'm a big fan of the crane on the new ARAM map.
Yeah, really nice.
Pretty.
Yeah.
As Casey will get the Rakan. It's been traded for a top tier 1, as you say, trying to get Jackie's a little bit of a gold infusion, but the Rakan will be more than that for KC. Very happy with their prize as they secure their 3rd neutral objective of the game. All those petals going into their inventories. Isma, he engages onto Targamas, but it was more, he's going that way anyway, might as well chuck a punch out.
He also didn't do any damage.
Hey, that's 100 damage on Targamas. That Rakan passive shield, man, you gotta, it's just so juicy. So difficult to deal with. As you say, Isma only with the Sundered Sky right now isn't really, I mean, Rakan's really not his target either. As you see the boots upgrades coming out from KC as well. Now, Rakan down, 2 Drakes to the good. Inferno Drake up in a minute 30. Seeker's arm guard upgraded to the Zhonyas for Vladi. He knows he's really the only target that GIANTX can dive on towards. And he's just making himself so safe as houses.
And it's why we've kind of seen Vi start to teeter out of the meta. If you look at LPL and LCK, they are going for the Pantheons and Wukongs because you have champions like Xayah, Sivir that can manage that dive potential well.
Impale onto Jun. He looked for the engage, but the Scorpion's tail has a mighty sting. Vladi takes the kill, 2-0-4 now. Joining Caliste in the Deathless carry column. And for Jackie's and for GIANTX, like, what do you do? You're bleeding out all over the map. You're going to lose a tier 2 in top, most likely. You're losing your tier 2 in mid. Karna comes down, brings down the double fists. Equalizer used here just to clear out the wave, and KC aren't really respecting it at all. The hero's entrance out. They put down the sun disc, build a tower where yours once stood. GIANTX falling all to pieces as KC methodically clean up the map. Now Jackie's is looking for the flank. Spotted on vision, has the impale. Ishtal's impact out by Yike, and GIANTX can't find the engage. TP away from Jackie's down towards the bottom lane. He just wants to get a little bit more gold.
Yeah, try and get that tower, get a bounty for themselves, but it's dire straits for GIANTX because this is the downside of when you build these dive compositions. If you can't kill anyone in the dive, when it all goes wrong immediately after that.
It really does. It really does. Is it Phil Collins in dire straits? I can't quite remember. Karna might just blast going over the wall here. He's on his lonesome, but GIANTX don't really know it. Isma looking for the smite. Gets back in. Oh, it's Noah that gets it. Meanwhile, Vladi looking for a flank position of his own as he TPs in. The Emperor's Divide flashed away by 2, but not by the others. GIANTX lose 2 again. Targamas chases off Lot towards the top side. Isma now. Man, earlier in this game, we saw you run towards this red buff area. I'm not sure it's as safe as you think. Spotted, trying to steal away the Crux. Canna coming in as well. More distraction than anything. Yike using the shield to aggro the Crux. Isma jumps across the wall. Targamas going to join this fray just to make sure that the buy does fall.
Give it to Targamas.
No one has ever said that in the history of League of Legends. Give it to the support, guys. So have a look at this. Like, Canna knows they're not getting the Drake, but the fight is in his eyes.
Yeah, and that's really, as you say, what all they're looking for. Noah flashed off the wall, but great TP spot from Vladi. And again, this kind of comes back to all that vision control that we highlighted earlier. Jackie's just getting clipped by the edge of that, even with the flash over, and 2 by 2 they fall.
Just as they went onto the arc, 2 by 2 they fall. Noah and Jackie's going down. Isma dying in the end as well, a minute before the Baron spawns. 2 Drakes apiece, doesn't really matter. Don't expect we'll get to Seoul with how strong Karmine Corp are now. 6,500 gold ahead, and this is more what I was expecting. I'll be honest, like even-ish early games, maybe a small lead for GIANTX. GIANTX have shown up today, just not in game 3.
Yeah.
And that is obviously to their chagrin, especially since in game 1 they came back into it, could have won it. Can't say for sure, they were still about 6k behind when Isma got caught.
It does make the conversation for top 2 a little bit more interesting though, because, I mean, look, Fnatic not looking very strong yesterday. KC showing they can bleed today as well.
Importantly, Fnatic are in the other group.
Yes. But what I mean is just if you're trying to contest for those top 2 spots, I think it does become a little bit more interesting if Fnatic aren't living up to the hype. If KC had not got that big pop blossom in game number 1, and they still have time to fix things. This is only weekend 1, but it hasn't been the best of showing from 2 teams that are expected to comfortably sit into those top 2 in their respective groups.
100% agree with you there. And you have to remember as well, you have 4 games, 4 series.
Yeah.
KC are halfway through their regular season after today. Now, with them having, if they win this game, with them having won 2 of the games, they're pretty much guaranteed a playoff berth. It would be very unlikely that they didn't make it into at least the top 4 in that group. But you really have to show up when it matters. GIANTX hit 25% loss rate in series if they lose this one. Currently 6,000 gold in the hole, 11-1 KC scoreline. It's palindromic and I like it, as now they set up around the Baron once again. They'll start it up, fast side automation coming out, the control wall will stop it. Caliste autos it as well, trying to pull GIANTX into a bit of the action. Isma does have the smite, he can jump across the wall with that bolt breaker. They'll hold it on 7,000 or so. Jun exhausted by Targamas, Hero's entrance in, they go for the impale onto Isma. Cease and desist out from him, Targamas will fall first. Isma surviving, Jackie's trying to dive in with the quickness as well, but can't quite get the damage onto Caliste. In the end, a support for a mid laner exchanged. Importantly though, Isma's still alive, healing up from the Razor Beaks, and now about to have his flash back up. The hook out, Emperor's Divide from Vladi to try and keep Jun and Lot at bay. Canna falling low as well as the missiles fly from Noah, but the feathers fly from Caliste. He'll find 2 with the help of Vladi, and now the Baron should be secure.
Yeah, I can just tank it up. KC, we have to get the Baron. It took a lot from KC. They end up going over the wall. Caliste isn't in. Well, actually, you can see it here. So as they go over the wall, Caliste isn't actually able to follow up on this engage. So most other carries have some way of getting into position here, but Caliste has to walk around. So for a lot of this, you are just getting a lot of damage from GIANTX in a decent position in a choke where they get a lot of value, which is why you're seeing a very quick turnaround. And Jackie's tries desperately to get Caliste down, but again, you kind of see the split from KC. Now they still end up winning out. They're just that far ahead, but little closer, I think they would have liked to. A few more flashes burnt than they would have liked, but Baron secured, and that should mean they can crack open the base.
Really nice flash as well.
I mean, if you don't have 10k gold lift, I think we could have won this.
If there wasn't a 10k gold lift, I think we could have won this, I think is what he said.
Yeah, and I agree with him. I think that could have been a bit...
Yeah, also, I mean, his math is off. It was only 6.5k at the time, so...
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Apparently Phil Collins was in Genesis, not Dire Straits. I apologize to anyone who knows 80s music, I guess.
Yeah, but they were all in the Hotel California, and that's all that matters.
It's so true. As KC now should be able to close this one out. 8,500 gold ahead. They'll be sleeping in the jungle after this game very happily as they push forward. Inhibitor their first target. Canna's catching that mid wave to make sure they have a new objective after that inhibitor does go down. The GIANTX, one last press of those Arkeys. See if you can find anyone. The problem is you have to make your way through Canna and Yike to do it, and they're pretty damn tanky right now. Canna even has a Seeker's arm guard to add that extra layer of protection. GIANTX, you got to do something at some point. The dredge line's going to land onto Canna. Featherstorm out from Caliste. Isma goes in with the cease and desist, but a good charm from Targamas distracts the rest of GIANTX, and Canna from under the towers dives back with a hero's entrance. Double flash away. Stopwatch from Vladi to avoid the depth charge. Noah unable to escape. Another dredge line coming in. Only Lot left standing, and none of his Nexus towers have that same luxury. It took him a while, but KC finally managed to bounce back and take it 2-1.
Game 1 and 2, a very strong showing from GIANTX, but game 3 was not a close affair at all. KC came in absolutely swinging and just refused to give up.
I think GIANTX will be disappointed with themselves. Game 2 really showed what they can do. Game 1 as well, they were able to get back into it after a couple of mistakes in the mid game, put them in a bit of a hole. For KC, things to work on from this week. Their early game especially, I think, was a bit of a struggle. You can vote for one of them, your key player of the series. Vote Canna, Caliste, or Targamas. I think Targamas had an absolute... Apart from game 2, it's really tough actually, because no one really had a great game 2 for KC. Targamas' game 1, Pop Blossom
I
is
do think
what got them
Caliste
back
was
in.
pretty consistent though throughout.
I can give you that. Caliste was pretty consistent. He always is though, isn't he? It's rare. Oh, you do sometimes see him getting caught out, trying to be a little bit too... a little bit too greedy in the mid lane, but overall, KC and their fans should be happy. 2-0 start in terms of series, and it puts them at the top of their group going into week 2.